While Thor began as a stoic Shakespearean god of thunder, his evolution into one of the MCU's most hilarious characters has been a highlight of Marvel's ongoing saga. Thanks to Chris Hemsworth's brilliant comedic timing and the creative vision of directors like Taika Waititi, Thor has delivered some of the most side-splitting moments in the MCU timeline. From his fish-out-of-water antics to his rivalry with other heroes, Thor's humor brings levity to otherwise epic stakes. When Thor debuted in 2011, the character leaned heavily into Norse mythology, bringing a grandeur that set him apart. As the MCU progressed, so did Thor's role as comic relief, especially in team settings like the Avengers and Avengers Endgame. The real turning point came with Thor: Ragnarok, where director Taika Waititi leaned into Hemsworth's underrated comedic chops. The franchise embraced this new tone, allowing Thor to flourish as both a hero and a humor machine. One of the earliest and most quoted Thor moments comes from his 2011 solo debut, where he slams a coffee mug on the floor and shouts, "Another!" The Asgardian prince, still adjusting to Earth customs, believes smashing the cup is a compliment, a gesture of satisfaction. In a diner filled with confused humans, Thor's earnest demand stands out as both absurd and charming. It perfectly captures the fish-out-of-water tone that defines much of the film's humor. The moment also sets the tone for Thor's character, regal, entitled, yet oddly polite. Hemsworth sells the scene with complete sincerity, which only makes it funnier. This simple gag became instantly iconic, proving that even in a film grounded in myth, a little cultural confusion can go a long way comedically. During the Avengers, Thor comes to Loki's defense after Bruce Banner calls him crazy. "He's my brother," Thor says, only for Natasha to retort, "He killed 80 people in 2 days." Thor's sheepish response, "He's adopted," is comedic perfection, moment that undercuts Thor's usual grandeur, exposing a very human desire to distance oneself from an embarrassing family member. The line became an instant classic, quoted by fans and even Hemsworth himself off-screen. What makes it so effective is the awkward pause before Thor delivers the punchline, as if even he realizes how ridiculous Loki can be. It's a masterclass in timing and delivery, made all the funnier by how casual it is amid a discussion of mass murder and intergalactic war. 8. Thor competes with Star-Lord for leadership. Avengers Endgame. One of the most memorable comedic scenes in Avengers Endgame is Thor's passive-aggressive alpha battle with Star-Lord aboard the Benatar. As the Guardians awkwardly watch, Thor subtly tries to assert dominance through condescending agreement that Star-Lord was in charge, all while pretending to be deferential. "Of course," he says repeatedly, while visibly eyeing Star-Lord like a rival animal. The tension escalated immediately after Thor casually renames the troop as Guardians of the Galaxy, which Star-Lord nervously laughs off. The humor is in the nuance. Two grown men posturing like kids on a playground. It's a hilarious moment that reminds viewers how Thor's ego hasn't entirely disappeared, despite his personal growth. The chemistry between Hemsworth and Chris Pratt is electric, and the scene left audiences wanting more of this cosmic odd couple's ridiculous power struggle. 7. He knows that I love snakes. Thor: Ragnarok. Thor: Ragnarok is packed with laugh-out-loud moments, but none are as absurdly hilarious as Thor recounting a childhood prank by Loki in which the god of mischief transformed into a snake, which Thor then picked up to admire, only for Loki to turn back and stab him. The line is delivered in a matter-of-fact tone, feeling just like a sibling recounting a story from their childhood, only with murderous actually comes intent. From Norse mythology, inserting a veneer of mythology into the scene. It serves as a microcosm of their chaotic sibling dynamic, betrayal, love, and violence all mashed into one. Hemsworth's delivery is hilarious, supported perfectly by Loki's wry smile and Bruce Banner's shocked expression, making it a standout moment in a joke-packed movie. 6. Thor tries to calm Hulk. Thor: Ragnarok. In Thor: Ragnarok, Thor tries to soothe Hulk during their gladiator match by invoking Black Widow's calming technique seen in Avengers: Age of Ultron. "Hey big guy, the sun's getting real low." Thor attempts to transform Hulk back into Banner, reaching out and holding his teammate's enormous hand before repeating Natasha's iconic line. Coming from Thor, this feels wildly out of place and was unsurprisingly unsuccessful. The main reason this moment is funny is Thor's delusional and smug smile, fooling himself into thinking he was capable of calming the Jade Giant. Hemsworth's hilarious smirk is roundly knocked off his face when Hulk wrenches his arm and throws him around like a rag doll, leading to another of the movie's funniest jokes. Loki crying, "Yes, that's how it feels," recalling Loki and Hulk's famed confrontation in the Avengers. 5. Asgardian acting troupe returns Thor, Love and Thunder. Thor, Love and Thunder brings back the Asgardian theater troupe first seen in Ragnarok, and this time they're hilariously reenacting Hela's dramatic return. With Matt Damon reprising his role as actor Loki, and joined by Luke Hemsworth and Melissa McCarthy as actor Hela, the scene becomes a gloriously low-budget parody. The actors' melodramatic overacting and absurd props turn tragic Asgardian history into a farce. The comedy works because the performers are entirely sincere in their bad acting. It's a spoof within a spoof. Thor watching the ridiculous play unfold with zero interruption adds to the moment's absurdity. Marvel poking fun at its own dramatic storylines, self-aware the franchise has become. It's a brief but brilliant scene that celebrates both theatrical flair and the MCU's growing comedic confidence. For Thor at Home with Mjolnir Team Thor short, Marvel's Team Thor shorts, introduced audiences to a more grounded, comedic version of the God of Thunder. Set during the events of Captain America: Civil War, these mockumentary-style clips show Thor living with an ordinary roommate, Daryl, in Australia. One of the funniest scenes involves Thor treating Mjolnir like a sentient roommate, complete with charts and a bed. He casually explains Mjolnir's feelings and role in his life, as if it were a pet or emotional support friend. The everyday setting amplifies the absurdity. Here's a god behaving like a passive-aggressive flatmate. It's a perfect blend of divine power and mundane awkwardness. The short format allows Hemsworth's comedic talents to shine unfiltered, and the result is one of the most relatable and bizarrely charming Thor moments in the entire MCU canon. 3. Drunk Thor playing Fortnite. Avengers, Endgame. In Avengers, Endgame, audiences meet a drastically changed Thor, overweight, depressed, and living in New Asgard with Korg and Miek. The reveal of Thor playing Fortnite while yelling at an online troll named Noobmaster69 is as unexpected as it is hilarious. Seeing the God of Thunder drunk, yelling at a headset, and threatening to fly over to your house speaks absurdity. What makes the scene work is the juxtaposition between Thor's legendary status and his current slovenly gamer lifestyle. It's both funny and tragic, capturing his trauma while poking fun at modern escapism. Korg's casual commentary only adds to the humor. This moment was an instant meme and continues to be a standout example of Marvel's willingness to blend real-world culture with superhero satire. He's a friend from work. Thor, Ragnarok. One of the most crowd-pleasing lines in Thor. Ragnarok comes when Thor sees Hulk in the Sakar arena and exclaims, "He's a friend from work." The line is delivered with giddy relief and perfectly undercuts the high-stakes tension of the gladiator reveal. The humor lies in the casual phrasing. Thor's treating this intergalactic deathmatch like a run-in at the office. Even better, the line was reportedly improvised by a Make-A-Wish child visiting the set, adding charm to an already iconic moment. Thor's optimism as he waves to Hulk stands in hilarious contrast to the Green Giant's thunderous charge. The scene captures Thor's transformation into a more lighthearted, self-aware hero. It's endlessly quotable and embodies the quirky energy that made Ragnarok a comedic standout in the MCU. 1. Thor tries to blend in on Sakar. Thor, Ragnarok, perhaps the most laugh-out-loud moment in Thor. Ragnarok comes when Thor attempts to disguise himself on Sakar, simply throwing a ragged piece of cloth over his unmistakably godly frame. With no change in posture, no real concealment of his face or his distinctive clothing, Thor honestly believes this minimal effort will help him blend in among Sakar's bizarre alien crowds. The comedy is amplified by his utter confidence in the disguise, despite it being painfully ineffective. Hemsworth plays the moment with oblivious charm, as if Thor has never had to hide before and is just winging it. The scene parodies classic cloak and hood tropes from sci-fi and fantasy, while doubling down on Thor's endearing arrogance. It's a visual gag that's as subtle as a lightning bolt and just as funny.